Okay, I'm out in the storage room and it's freezing cold, and I just thought I would quickly squeeze in a few videos while I'm waiting for my husband to finish putting my daughter to bed so he can get me out of my coat. I'm stuck in my coat because I went cross-country skiing with a friend and I got home and I can't get my zipper undone, so I can't even get these pants off that I was skiing in. So I'm in all my outdoor clothes, and even, I don't know if you can see this, these are my cross-country ski boots. I don't know if you can see those. Anyway, but really quick thing, I'm out in the storage room and I noticed that now my daughter has a different, what do they call it, a weighted blanket. She has a different one now because we bought one, but this is the first weighted blanket she ever had, and I made it myself. And at the time, it was a lot cheaper to make my own than it was to buy one. I don't really know what the prices are in different countries. The prices have gotten a little bit cheaper in Sweden just to go to the store and buy one. Like sometimes maybe the store will have a sale so you can get a little bit better deal than maybe they cost about a couple hundred, $200 to $300 normally. And if you hit a flash sale, maybe you can get it for half of that. But what I did, honestly, this is just an old sheet, a thicker kind of material on the sheet. And what I did is I went to the hardware store and bought a roll of chain, and you can buy it in different sizes, and the smaller chain will be a lighter weight blanket and the thicker chain would make a heavier blanket. And then what I did, this is the kind of sheet that you put like a down blanket in. And so it has two sides to it, and then you stick the blanket in the middle. But instead of putting a blanket in the middle, I put the chains in here. And see, like, they're my fingers now on one of the chains. It's kind of hard to see maybe, but if you can see here that I sewed a bunch of channels, and there you go. You can see that. Like, I just sewed a bunch of straight seams, and I put the chain in there first, and then I sewed afterwards. So I laid the chain in the sheet between the two sides of the sheet, and I sewed all the way to the other end one seam, and then I had made a channel, and then I didn't cut the chain. It's just like one continuous thing. So I just folded it over the corner and pulled it down the other way, and then I sewed one more seam, and then that part was stuck in there, and then I just kept going like that, just looping the chain around. And I used the chain like the long way, so I was making really long seams, but you could do it either way, the short way or the long way. And so these seams just go from one end of the sheet, from the foot of the bed to the top of the bed, and there's a chain in between each one of those things. And that's what makes the weight. This is probably maybe 5 kilos is what this one weighs. And now my daughter has one that's 7 kilos. And it has a little bit more, the chains in it are bigger than the ones that I used. But this was a really cheap way to make a first blanket when we didn't have a lot of money, and I wasn't really sure if she was going to like it or not. So super simple. You just need either 2 flat sheets, or if you have 2 flat sheets, I would just sew it all the way around the edges first, and or one of these sheets that you use for special blankets that you put inside the sheet, you know. We use these a lot in Europe. They're not as common in the States, but you can still find them. And then you just put the chain in there, pull it from one end to the other, sew a seam, and then pull it back the other way and sew another seam. And it takes maybe, I don't know, it took me maybe 2 hours to make that blanket, and it was pretty fast and easy, and it's just straight seams on the sewing machine. So if you're hard up for cash and you think your child would benefit from a weighted blanket, ask around if anybody has like old chains laying around. I mean, as long as they're not like completely rusted, you can just use them. If your child is really young, you need smaller chains so it doesn't weigh as much, and if your child is older, you're going to want bigger chains. So my daughter is she turned 12 and she's using a 7 kilo blanket. I don't think that she would mind actually changing to a little bit heavier one that's 8 or 9 kilos now. She's been talking about switching, but a smaller kids, when she was, I don't know, 9 or so, then she was using this one that I think is about 5 kilos. So that's kind of like an age, and like kids, even smaller kids maybe want a weighted blanket, but maybe they only want it to be like a couple kilos, not weigh quite as much. So anyway, I hope that this gives you some inspiration. there. I'm sort of disappearing here. I am going to go. My hands are freezing, and so I think I need to just stop this video now and see if my husband can get me out of my coat. Have a really good day. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Bye.